How are
Hi,
you,
Greg.
Bob?
We're good. How are you doing?
Hi, Greg. Nana, nice to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you. Good seeing you, Bob, as well. And actually, I'm here in the lobby of an actual movie theater. So in case you see somebody walk by,
Oh my God, movie theaters, what are they? I don't remember.
I know it's bizarre. It's kind of like it's got a screen that's bigger than the one in the house. So I'm loving it.
Hmm.
Just I loved I love this series. It's so bizarre. Even though a lot of us don't work in the university group, but you see a lot of things with your own jobs and own situations, and it's like, aha, that's what's going on. Because not unlike with your character, I mean, here's a person who, smart, intelligent, ready to go, but just because of probably things in the past, it's like, I just want to sit back. And everybody always kind of like had to push her a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, well, I think there's a kind of quintessential question when it's like person X against an institution and
Mhm.
and like does person X have to martyr themselves to make change? And I think that we are evolving in our conversations about change making
Mhm.
and frankly that like you can opt out of being a martyr. You can just take the easier road or the path of go where you are welcomed
Right.
rather than fighting an
Mhm.
uphill battle. And I think that that was the quintessential question that happened for Yaz over the course of the season. So
Yep, that's for sure. And then Bob, here's your guy. He's been there forever. Um, and he's got to the point where the stuff that he's teaching, he's getting a little frustrated because the kids nowadays it doesn't translate to him, does it?
Well, he's got to be knowing even when he even like for months before the series began, that at his lectures there were fewer and fewer people, and people weren't listening, and they were looking at their watches all the time. So he knows something's going on. He just can't do anything about it. But you mentioned something when you were talking about it, I thought was really smart. This thing is very universal. And it gets to be universal because it's so specific, because you understand the people. If these were just chess pieces moved around in a complicated story, you would have nothing to identify with. But I'm glad that you say that you can identify with what's going on here no matter what, because I think that's part of the beauty of this thing is how specific. Somebody did a huge amount of research, or if they didn't, they're just really smart.
No, that's for sure. And thank you. Yeah, because it's like, I've been in radio and TV for over 40 years now, and it's completely changed. And there are some people I know who kind of like haven't still evolved, with some of the new things. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, we're going to this person's retirement party now, just,
Yeah,
because of that type of situation.
yeah.
But then also not, I mean, like we said, there are a lot of serious things going on, but also several funny aspects and situations that go on in this, which really helps to balance everything out, doesn't it?
Right. I think
right,
so.
definitely. I mean, they say comedy, both comedy and drama are tension, right? So we've got plenty of tension, and therefore both comedy and drama ensue.
There you go. I have to say thank you both very, very much for your time. Enjoyed you both, and look forward to seeing you again. I wish you were here. You could go down the hall with me and see a movie.
I'd love
Ah,
that.
that sounds like a dream. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Take care. How are you both?
Hey, Greg.
Greg, are you in a movie theater? Are you in a cinema?
Yeah,
I see. Oh, that's great, man. Oh,
I have to tell you, the first interview I did, I was actually in the theater, and then all of a sudden, the people who were coming in for their screening came in, and it's like, uh-oh. So I'm picking up my stuff, going running down the hall. I figure that's got to be the weirdest shot anybody's ever seen, but
Good.
but good to see you both. And Sandra, just starting with you with your character. I mean, wow, you're talking about having the weight of kind of like all worlds on a person's shoulders. She certainly had it, didn't she?
correct. And I feel like, a lot of women do. I really felt and imagined like, oh, this is my job. I represent this on the show. And when we finish the 6 episodes, I can go back to a different type of life. And there are people who are doing this 24/7 all the time. So it's for them.
Absolutely. And now, Amanda, you came up with this whole thing. How did the whole idea come about?
I really liked the idea of setting setting it in a place in which the vestiges of white male elitism are still hanging on, and I liked the idea of a female boss a newly promoted supervisor whose colleague transgresses, and then she has to navigate this as as her sort of first foray. And I couldn't really stop thinking about Sandra because I wanted it to be funny too. I didn't want it to be like homework. I wanted it to be funny, and I really wanted to make an office romance, like a workplace comedy. And so I'm definitely like a snob, but I feel like it's fair that I'm a snob since I'm an actress too. And she was just the only person who had it for me, the comedy and the comedy chops, but then also the intelligence and the romance and the vulnerability and sensuality. And also then Sandra's also like a very good dramaturg and cares enormously about the integrity of the story and tracking her character's story. And it was a real pleasure to be with another woman. We're both at the same point in our lives. We're at similar ages. And I think we both are at a point in where we value the same things about Hollywood and want to discard similar things about Hollywood. And that was deeply, profoundly satisfying. And we had a very difficult shoot because of COVID, but it was a beautiful party.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And again, even going along with what Amanda said, Sandra, even though it wasn't in a university, situation, but I'm watching, my wife who just retired as a nurse was watching, and it's kind of like you said, you can see different things from everything that we do as well in there. And it's like, oh gosh, all these same type of problems continue around for us.
Correct. I mean, if you haven't gotten along with your child, you know what I mean? Has your child ever cut you to the core? Then you might relate. You know what I mean? Have you ever tried to figure out how to navigate a friendship that's turning into romance? You might be able to relate. You know what I mean? Or balancing different generations and just trying to also make change. I feel like it's all in there.
Absolutely. Ladies, thank you both very, very much for your time. Great seeing you both. And come on down the hall. Join me for a movie in a minute.
Oh my gosh, I would love to. Thanks, Greg.
Great to see you both. Enjoyed the series. And Jay, only thing I can think of when I think about your guy is, unfortunately, it seems like always in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, I think that's one interpretation. I think he somehow gets himself into the wrong place at the wrong time. He's looking for a demise on some level. I think there's that subconscious drive where you know that you need to be reinvented from the ground up, so you're just looking for a way to completely collapse. And it was fun to play and fun to climb out of the tremendous hole that he digs for himself in the pilot.
No, that's for sure. And Holland, here's your person, been with the university forever, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like, and I've seen this before as well with working, all of a sudden people kind of want to phase people out who have been there for a while.
Well, I think she's in her head mostly. She's a real scholar. She's not only a scholar about a world that is so far removed from the current time and her reality that, she's just unconnected with the real politics and the overview of what's happening at the university. So she's, I think, taken by surprise by it all, by the dwindling interest in medieval times. Her lack of ability to spark any fascination on any of her students about, a language that's 600 years old and evolving. And, she's inflamed with interest in it all, which she would have to be a medievalist. That is a very hard thing to teach. You have to be incredibly educated yourself in like 5 languages. And she's just so completely cut off from who these kids are today. And she's also of an age where she's being pushed to the side, not only by the institution, but by society itself in America. She's just older, so you just sit down and wait. We'll get to you in a moment, dear. And so it's something that I have a little insight in, as I'm old myself. But it's quite painful to play. But things that are painful to play are so interesting and so enlivening that it, of course, ultimately is very joyous, as Jay would tell us.
Right. I was going to say, no, I understand. Yeah. By being in the business for such a long time, then after a while, it's kind of like, we just want you to go out and talk about the rain outside. And it's like, wait, I can do much more. And back on your guy, Jay, he, like we said, he did have some issues and different things going on, but he is a very caring person. cause, especially when it comes down to Sandro's daughter. I mean, it's kind of like they just really had a very special bond, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. I originally wasn't looking forward to that because I was hoping to escape children after a year of quarantine with them, with my own children. But yeah, I fell in love with Everly, and I thought it was so smart and true and well observed the way that Amanda wrote, you know, a courtship from Bill's point of view, you know, inherently needs to involve her daughter. And luckily for him, they have an incredible chemistry, and he has the experience and I guess like the healthy detachment to be able to not give a shit about this kid in the way that kids are sometimes entitled to feel like the world has to revolve around them. But we did find a great chemistry, and I just love that a middle-aged courtship involved essentially like a love affair with two women, one my age and one her daughter, that's more of a fatherly love. And it was so charming to me and so real, and felt right. And I also have kids in that age range, so I felt you know, uniquely qualified to execute that at this point in time. Because I mean, I'm courting my own children all fucking day because all I want them to do is to love me and to care about me, and I'm trying to stay relevant with them, you know. So it felt really, really in the moment. I think Amanda knew that too, and I think it was a great. I think all great showrunners are weirdly great matchmakers in a way, because, you know, like Sandra and I weren't in a room together until we were both cast, and luckily the chemistry was there. So
it definitely did. Just want to say thank you both very, very much for your time. Enjoyed the series, and thank you very much for running through the hallway at the Imagine Theater here with me.
It was a blast. Congrats on being inside of a movie theater.
You got it. Take care. A pleasure.
Take care, Greg.
Bye-bye.